So we're gonna start with probably the single most important question of this particular episode. Who are you? We're gonna ask you too, but who are
Oh my. That's a good question because I got so many layers. I'm a mom. I am a daughter. I'm a registered crisis certified peer recovery specialist, which that title will end probably soon because then I will be a social worker. Um, I am a deaconess in the church. I don't lead with that. This goes back to our episode we just did. Our title doesn't make us who we are. Okay, I'm gonna stay focused. Sorry. Um, um, I'm somebody that cares.
you?
I'm very caring, and I've been told as a visionary, and I'm starting to learn that.
How about you? Who are you?
I would say that I'm a unapologetic black man in America that loves his people, loves himself, and just has a heart for the people who is less than that society says, and just a caring guy, man. And I think a lot of times I would confuse what I do with who I am, and I can't do that.
Okay.
And it's only because on most days I'm far from what I do. I'm so far from it, or I don't even think about it anymore because the help is just like always there. Because like my new job, I do more peer work there than I did at my old job, and I'm not getting paid peer. So just to say that black man in America trying to make some change and fight a good fight.
So where does your passion for for healing and truth, where does that come from?
Hmm. It comes from my life experiences. My dad died when I was 14 from, at the time I didn't know, but HIV complications. And he was very stubborn. He was like, I ain't taking medicine, I ain't doing anything. Um, and so he passed away very quickly from that. And then in 2012, I was 6 months pregnant with my oldest son, and my oldest brother had committed suicide. Um, and I didn't quite understand at the moment why, because I had just talked with him. Mm-hmm. He had just told me, I had complications with Josiah, and he had told me I need you to get through the finish line because he knew I had miscarriages and stuff, and he had. Now I know he was doing the cleanup, what they considered the cleanup, because he was just telling me all this stuff. Which thinking back to it, I'm like he knew a lot of things I didn't know. And then 3 years ago, I lost my youngest brother to overdose to substance prison. And so a lot of the things that those are some of the events that I had been through, but like what I do now with working with adolescents and IOP, I've been there before. Having to get drug tested, having to go to the courts, being in the justice system, then um, being sexually abused when I was younger. I mean, it's just several different things that has shaped me into why I do what I do, because there was things that at the moment I didn't quite understand why I was going through it or why it was happening.
Right.
And then seeing like to help other people. I think what really showed me like I'm having to go through this was when I came out with my very first video after going through chemotherapy. And I had so many people call me and message me and they said, I'm going through this. I'm going through the same thing. I I wanted to commit suicide. I wanted, and I was like, okay. So it really um, shaped me and want me to help other people. Basically, be like, you don't have you. I've been there before. I know what that. I know what that feels like.
Right, right. So, Eric, how would you say your personal life experiences have shaped the way you see growth and healing?
All right. I was, for the first 13 years of my life, I was raised in the projects.
Okay.
Then my mom moved into an all white neighborhood, and my life changed.
Okay.
All my friends that were black became white, and all my friends that were black, once I started hanging with the white guys, turned it back on me. And it was the nickname white boy and all that stuff. You know, that comes with that because the thing is, I used to like, I no longer like because of my environment. And started listening, you know, heavy metal, riding bikes and stuff like that. And not knowing how to deal with being, I guess you could say, being bullied to a certain extent. I turned to the drugs early, drinking and smoking weed and stuff. And that shifted my whole perspective, I believe, at that moment because the world that I saw, I no longer saw it anymore. And I started seeing things from a different lens. Like my best friend, Jamie, his mom, he's a white kid. He was a white kid. His mom loved me just like my mom loved me, you know. Because I remember one time I was in the police was messing with us, and out of all the people, they arrested me. And she went and opened the back door and said, "Get out, you know, go home." And I was like, "Whoa," you know what I mean? And then, you know, not knowing how to, I guess, adjust in my own skin and be who I really wanted to be because of being judged. I wore a mask for so long, man, you know. And then when I got to the point where I didn't care, I started living my life and just doing what I felt like I wanted to do for me, you know. And then it just changed how everything around me changed to make me who I am. You know, all the pain and all the ups and downs and like dating women in their 30s and I'm 15 and 16, you know, going to jail, going to prison, ODing, my uncle giving me heroin, taking LSD in school, whatever. You know, it's just like all those situations where they're not good situations, but it had to make me the person I am, you know. And to be completely honest, as bad as it was, I wouldn't change a thing about it because I say if I change one thing, I change who I am. You know, and I think it has made me more aware and me more willing to listen to other people going through what they're going through. Because it's a hell of a feeling when you feel like you're alone and you're hopeless. You know, and I seen my mom get abused by her boyfriend one time. I was like 8 years old and I couldn't help her. And every time I feel hopeless, that plays in my head. And I feel like everything happens for a reason, you know. And you know, it made me so that I care for people. Um, I don't abuse women, you know. I don't abuse kids, you know. I don't verbal or physical abuse nobody. You know, I don't try to make nobody feel less than because I know how that feels. Even with people like that I don't like, I still wouldn't do it. You know, I refuse to allow a person to make me someone who I'm not. So my life experience is like the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's valid. So this is a question for you both. What does the word truth mean to you personally?
It's I feel like it's the realest of the real. It's who you are, whether it's good or bad. Um, it the facts is like the facts is there.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deviate from the truth.
There's a saying that says, the truth don't need a kickstand; it can stand up by itself. Um, and it always goes back to darkness and light for me, because the truth will shine. It may take a little longer, but once it does, it can't go back to the darkness, and people have a hard time with the truth, and sometimes I do too because of feeling not I don't want to hurt somebody else, it isn't the consequence of the actions that may come from it. It's just that are they ready for it, because I sometimes I be questioning myself like, do you really want to know about certain stuff? Because once the blinder is gone, you can't go understand it. Like once you know, you can't go back unknowing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do know the truth will set you free, man, regardless of how it looks. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And less most time the truth is better than telling a lie because it's less painful and you can get to work on it. Regardless of where you at with it. Because if you tell a lie about it, you can't come back from it. But I do have a problem with it's not telling the truth. It's a problem with leaving out a lot of information. People can still consider me telling a lie, but I'm not lying. I'm just not telling you everything.
Right.
And it makes it seem like I'm lying.
Right.
But
omitting just a
few things that would alter the story. I don't know which way, but it's like I'm not gonna volunteer this information if I don't have to.
Right.
But then they find out about it and like, why you didn't tell me? It's like I didn't think it was important.
Right. I think you still got the gist of the story without me giving you that.
And it is not for to be malice or vindictive. It's just to be a need to know thing. Like this is what's going on. This is happening. And if I think you really, really need to know it, I'm gonna tell you. But if I can get through it without you doing everything that really don't matter no way, I'm gonna hold some of it back.
Yep.
Get straight to the point, and I'm gonna give it to you. Truth is, I like people who have similar thoughts about the truth. If they're just like intentional with whatever they're doing, not hiding stuff for or having hidden agendas. I hate that. I don't never have a hidden agenda in nothing I do because this don't sit right with me, So I try to surround myself with people who are pretty much similar to me, don't lie, don't steal, don't hurt, and just try to heal, heal people, heal each other, and just build off of that, man, because I just like going out, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. What problem would you say this podcast exists to solve?
I would say it would be what's in the title, exposing the truth and allowing a space for people to speak their truth without being judged and have a place to heal. A lot of people don't have that space or place to heal and not have a platform that they can authentically be themselves. A lot of people say they have that space or they have that platform or they have, are able to do that, but they really don't. Because I think one of the great things that we do allow is you don't have to be on camera if you don't want to be on camera. And you can speak your truth without being judged.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to. We don't even have to put your name out there. You can tell us your name is Bubbles. Well, Bubbles, tell us about what happened, and still be able to speak that and be able to heal without being judged.
Okay.
I think the problem most of the time is people getting misinformation, not giving the information that's going to allow them to heal, to grow, to change. And most of the time, you hear stuff that it's about people, but it's not about me. I can see the thin line between when somebody's talking about a subject and I'm not involved in it. Because it has nothing to do with color. It has something to do with choices people like me have made. So when we all are in the room, there's no color there. It's a bunch of issues that we have the answers for, but no one wants to listen to us. Because most of the time, these people have gone to all these colleges and got this book knowledge, but everybody in that room has lived through everything that they're talking about and can give them the right information to help somebody else. So me personally, I'm trying to be the person that if you have a problem, you can reach out. If you see me somewhere and you want to talk, pull up on me. I just want to be dependable, and I just want this to be a safe place.
So, in this day and age where subject matter such as what you're going to cover on the podcast is often strayed away from, people kind of tippy-toe around the truth as it is. What is it about it that makes you feel or realize that these conversations are important to have? Because so many people don't want to have these conversations where you're giving people that safe space to say, hey, this is your platform. Like, let it talk, let it out. What about it makes you say, it's necessary that we have these conversations and not stray away like most of society does, just like brush that off to the side. We're not going to touch that. But why?
I would have to say, and I can say for the both of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't mind pushing the envelope. Okay. I've always, especially me, like if it's something where someone is kind of like, I don't want to touch this subject. Well, I'm gonna touch the subject, and we can talk about it. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna do it in a tactful way.
Right.
But I think there's so many people saying they want to make a difference, but they don't want to deal with the repercussions of coming from that. I don't care if you don't like me because I'm talking about the subjects that we are talking about, recovery, sexual abuse, addiction, whatever. I don't care if you don't like me. That sounds like you got something that you might want to deal with and you need to deal with. It takes me back to kind of like the Black household where it's like what happens in this house stays in this house. We gotta stop getting out and doing that because there's stuff going on in the house that is causing problems with people and they're not healing, and then they get out into the world and they don't know how to communicate or they don't know how to express their feelings. They don't know how to say what you did or what you said to me bothered me because everything y'all did going on in the household stayed in the household. So I think what makes us unique is that we don't care what you feel or what you think about what we're talking about. You can either press play or you can keep scrolling. And I say that respectfully because I'm not in the business of people pleasing. I did that for years where it was like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that because it's going to hurt somebody's feelings. I really don't care about your feelings at this point. When I have people that I literally see on a day-to-day basis that are suffering. I work with kids that are suffering. So I really don't care if you have a problem with it. You can go write about it, journal about it. hell, talk about it on your podcast. I don't care. But when I have people that's suffering and I get the reports of who then committed suicide, who's in the hospital because of they are going through psychosis, or children trying to jump off buildings and stuff, I don't really care. So I think that's what makes us unique, is because we don't care about how you feel about what we're talking about. You can either press play or keep it moving.
That's good. Anything you want
to
add?
I mean, she said a lot, didn't she? But for me, just a little bit. I want to be. I don't want to say maybe the voice for the people.
Okay.
Especially for men that are afraid to be vulnerable, be transparent, and tell the whole world, like, this is what happened to me. This is what's going on. This is what I had to do. You know, because a lot of times we're afraid of being judged. Then you got shame and guilt, all that plays a part.
Of course.
And there's a lot to work through, man. It's not an easy process. I go to therapy, and I say that like because a lot of black men would not go to therapy because of men don't supposed to cry,
right?
All that wild stuff that we were taught.
Yep, that's what we were raised.
Until you find yourself backed up in a corner, not knowing what to do, thinking it's easier to take your life than to live, And this is crazy because one day, and then in my madness, man, I'm walking down the street. I get to a bridge, and I look over the bridge, and I wanted to jump. I really wanted to jump. And the only reason I didn't jump is because I thought about my mom, right? So fast forward a few weeks later, I walk across the same bridge, but this time they had put big fences up, so you can't jump. So, and that's the only time I've ever thought about suicide.
Wow.
So we're not alone. That's why.
Of course. Right.
Like every time I see that "you are enough" thing saying, it registers with me. I haven't had a lot of suicidal thoughts, but that one time scared me so bad that I knew that could easily be me.
That one time was enough.
Yeah, because it's like if I would have jumped, I don't know if I would have died. I'd have been hurt.
Yeah.
And it was like with cars, trucks coming through, so I know I probably would have died, but it wouldn't have been the fall that killed me. It would have been the pain that I would give my mom that would have killed me. It's just to be a voice for us.
Okay. And what responsibility do you feel when telling somebody else's story? Because again, we're talking delicate stuff. We're talking trauma. We're talking pain. We're talking hurt. What personal responsibility do you feel? Like you said, you don't even have to be on camera. You don't have to tell us your real name. But there's something in there that's like the story needs to be heard. What responsibility do you feel?
The truth.
Okay.
Their truth, and making sure that it's their truth. It could be somebody else can listen to it and be like, I remember that situation, but I remember this is not your truth. This is their truth.
Yeah.
This is what they experience.
Okay.
And making sure that it's not about us, it's about them. It's not, it's not about how I looked that day. It's about how can I help still best support you while you're telling the story.
Okay. What do you hope people get from this? Maybe not even folks that are giving their story, but a casual viewer that sits down and just comes across an episode of yours and they're like, seemed interesting. What do you hope they gather from these stories of truth, these stories of,
What they should get is, I hope, that anything is possible.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
3 years ago, I came up here to rehab with a backpack, suitcase, and two pairs of sneakers.
Okay.
No job,
Mm-hmm.
facing 20 years in prison,
Mm-hmm.
coming from being homeless, strung out, to coming up almost 3 years clean, meeting great people, having a business partner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's helped. She saw something in me when I was in treatment that I didn't see. You know, because she had got me to start mentoring kids.
Yeah.
And that what spun all this out. And it's just, man, if you give up, you'll never know.
So true.
You know,
So
and
true.
it's just it be so sometimes emotional for me. Like I'd be in the car going to work, whatever, and I just start crying because I remember a time where I would be walking down the street 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's 15 degrees below zero or whatever, and aimlessly not knowing where I was going.
Yeah.
You know, and I got purpose now.
Yeah.
You know, and a purpose-driven life is something that I didn't think that I would ever have.
Okay.
So if a person sees this, and they don't have to be a drug addict, they don't have to have a mental issue. They just got to have a problem with what they can do, and hopefully we can inspire just one person. You know, like you said last night we was talking, man. We just inspire one person.
Yeah.
The job is
The
done.
job is done.
And just to be like, we're not. This is not about us. It's about the person who we talk to, and most of the time, I believe they help me more than I help them.
Yeah.
You know, it just it's how iron sharpens iron, and
yes,
and even if we wasn't gonna put it on social media or whatever, I feel like they would still need to tell their story. Like it was just for us to just sit down and have a conversation. They can be like, we don't want to be in front of the camera. We don't want to record it. We just want to have a conversation. I'm cool with that.
That's fair. So I think I want to close with this one. This is for both of you. If somebody looks at this episode and they're going through heartbreak, they're going through addiction, they're going through grief right now in this moment as they're watching this episode, what message do you want to deliver to them? Because I heard you say very clearly, the podcast is here to deliver hope. But for that person who's watching this right now, who has lost hope, what's your message to them through this podcast right here in this moment?
I would have to say, don't give up. Do not. I know that you probably have already given up. So what I need you to do is take a nap, and I need you to get back up. And after you take a nap, get back with it, because I promise you, in that moment, like this moment right now, is not your forever. The right now is not your forever. And just take a nap. Just take a nap and get back up and start it again. I promise you, you'll have a whole different way of thinking. Because there's been moments where, hell, this week, I was like, you know what? I'm good. And I took a nap. Do what you gotta do. I don't care if you gotta take clothes off, get one with the bed, take a nap, and then start back up again. Because if not, if you keep dwelling in the right now, I promise you your future. It's not gonna happen, but take a nap. And then get back up and be the boss that you are. That's what you sometimes you need that reset to remember who you are. And sometimes taking a nap, it can do some things that you need to do to take place. And we just have to remember who we are, and we have to remember that our right now moment is not the end all end all. And I know it's hard. I know. And there's moments where it's like, but right now, and that's the thing, right now, like at 12 o'clock or whatever time you're watching this right now, but that doesn't mean it's going to be like at 5 o'clock. That doesn't mean it's going to be like at 7:17 p.m. It's just not. Take a nap. And then get back up and revamp. And even if that means you're not dealing with whatever you're dealing with right now, when you get back up, you go to the next task and be like, I can't deal with that right now. That's okay. But as long as you know that your right now is not what it's going to be an hour from now, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now. It's just not. We got somebody that needs help.
Okay, this camera right here.
Yes.
You know, on the songs like, where my camera at?
That's it.
Where my camera at?
Camera one, right in the camera.
Well, I always want to do that. A baseball game has 9 innings.
Yeah.
And we're only in the 3rd. Okay. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, go get you some water, and when it's time to get back at the bat, swing for the fence. Just keep your eye on the ball, and I promise you, you can hit a home run. I have. Let's play ball. I got fun.
And that's a perfect place to end this. Destinnee, Eric, thank you. Take your opportunity, plug the podcast, let them know when to expect it dropping. When are we launching?
We are launching on next week. We have a couple things that we get to put out there for you all, and we're really excited for it. We're just wanting to help people, and we're really excited that we finally get to do a launch. Just a long time coming.
And before we go, I just want to thank you, Bear, and your assistant for being with us and helping us out through this process. A lot of knowledge. You've shown us a lot, man. And it's always genuine. I just want to thank you personally.
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blind and Truth podcast coming everywhere streaming is available.
Yes.
So you don't have an excuse. You won't miss it. Tune in. You will be changed.
Yes.
Thank you.